Mr. Smith and His Delicious Ice Cream by Anthony Trendl. It's true that in these days and times, parents sometimes like to give their children funny names. Apple, Prince, and Brooklyn are a few you might hear. At least we know what those names mean. Apples are a kind of fruit. A prince is some kind of royalty. And Brooklyn is the place where Jimmy Durante and his old Schnozola grew up. Occasionally, unusual names slip through. Rumpelstiltskin, for example. But no name has ever equaled the odd name of Triple Bibble Abble Dabble Cadooble Dop Smith. Try it this way. Triple, Bipple, Abble, Dabble, Cadoople, Dop Smith. His parents, John and Sue, expected triplets, only there weren't. When the big day came, there was only one boy, so Triple Bibble, Abble Dabble, Cadooble Dop became his name. Few people could say it straight away, and would call him things like Trabble, Babble, Booble, Dooble, Cadiddly Squat, which he never liked no matter how sweetly they said it. His name was so troublesome for his young pals, who never got it right, that the phrase "trip the tongue" came about. On the school grounds, naturally, this caused some challenges. Teachers would refer to him simply as Smith, though when they did, if there was any sort of crowd, 3 or 4 people might reply. As it happened, Trip enjoyed ice cream. Mr. and Mrs. Smith loved taking him out for it. There was a lovely place in town with wooden floors and tables with pictures of giraffes on them. But when the ice cream clerk would call to him with his order, disaster would occur. By the end of it all, no one was happy, so Mr. and Mrs. Smith thought it best just to eat ice cream at home. What's more, Trip had a peculiar way of eating it, or drinking it, depending on how you see these sorts of things. First, he would gather up what he needed to prepare it. Then, of course, the ice cream. Chocolate was his favorite, but he would settle for vanilla or, and only because it is his dad's favorite, lettuce ice cream. But to eat that, he needed a lot of dressing, Italian or French or Hershey's. Ketchup, sometimes, just for change. Next, he grabbed the sauce, the syrup, and the sprinkles. He found the nuts and the nachos, the nectarines and the noodles. Trip dug out the onions, the oysters, and the oregano. He cut, ground, and pressed all of this into something that looked like a schmear, but without the cream cheese, and only half as appetizing. Trip then scraped a few scoops of ice cream into a bowl and gave it a minute or 2 in the microwave. When it began to steam, he would stir in his non-cream cheese smear and pour the entire concoction into a tall glass. "No sundae is complete without a cherry," he would tell anyone around while reaching delicately into a cool jar for the perfect cherry. This immutable truth somehow made sense in the midst of the culinary cacophony he compiled. Like a painter applying a final brushstroke, Trip would set the slick, sweet brined fruit in the exact middle of his drink, where it would float briefly before sinking to the bottom of the sundae glass. "It matters, you know, finishing it this way," said Trip when asked about the sinking cherry. "I know. It is atop of the ice cream cherry. Even if it is at the bottom, when I get to the bottom, I'll really be at the top. That's what really matters." No one else liked Trip's favorite dish, at least not the way he made it. But remark they would, perhaps, just as an excuse to say his name. Not much else is known about Trip or his family, but if you listen carefully on certain playgrounds, you might hear this rhyme. Maraschino cherry. Triple, Bipple, Abble, Dabble, Cadooble Dop liked his ice cream cherry on top. Maybe chocolate, maybe not, but Triple, Bipple, Abble, Dabble, Cadooble Dop liked it boiled, liked it simmered, liked it hot. "It goes down faster. I can eat a lot," said Triple, Bipple, Apple, Dabble, Cadooble Dop, as he washed his drink down with a pop. But Triple, Bipple, Abble, Dabble, Cadooble Dop never ate his chocolate yummy cake. You've just enjoyed Mr. Smith and His Delicious Ice Cream by Anthony Trendl. You'll find it and 21 other short stories in the collection The Raging Giant Blue Goldfish, found on Amazon.com and treefortbooks.com.